All right, welcome once again to this workshop series titled Natural Language Processing Application in Financial Trading and Investment. This is one of our workshops, which happens to be the last workshop in the series of workshops we had under the AI application in the financial sector. My name is Abubakar Sanari, and I will be the one who will guide you through the workshop. So, as a disclaimer, what we are going to discuss is strictly for educational purposes and not a financial advice. We highly recommend that those who have attended the session, if they are in need of a financial advice, that they should seek out an expert financial advisor. So, what is going to be the agenda for the day? First of all, we like to start with an introduction. Then I will give you uh, an overview of machine learning and AI and natural language processing. After that, we will discuss how this applied in the financial sector. We will look at a framework that is used to build a trading bot. Okay. Then we will open the floor for interactive Q&A. We will allow questions and answers as well as bot building. Live demo will be presented. I will show you some of the next steps and we will close the session. So as an introduction, I would like to welcome you once again to this session, and I hope you will be able to benefit from the session. So my name is Abubakar San Ali. I have a PhD in electrical engineering and computer science, as well as specialization in machine learning. So if you are interested in connecting with me, you can scan this QR code and you can be able to connect with me on LinkedIn. So the host institution is called Apatura Services, and we provide consultancy services, training, and workshops as well as research and development in AI, IoT, cybersecurity, and systems development, software development, application development. All of this we provide the services. The company is based in UAE. So that is about us, the company, as well as myself. Now let's look at what you will learn at the end of the workshop. First of all, by the end of the workshop, I hope you will have a basic understanding of machine learning, its applications in the context of trading and investing. I will discuss some of the real world case studies that you can use, okay, and demonstrate how AI is used in that regard. Then lastly, we will see how we can build a trading bot that employs natural language processing. So starting with the basics of AI, machine learning, and natural language processing. Okay, so AI is the simulation of human intelligence processed by machines, especially computer systems. What we mean is that we are talking about how we have these machines, these systems that try to simulate how human things, and carry out some tasks. Okay, machine learning, on the other hand, is a subset of AI, meaning that under AI we have different types of algorithms, expert systems, evolutionary computation, and machine learning is one of those. So if you have machine learning, okay, you can also consider it to be AI technique. So that's one part of machine learning. We also understand that it is a subset of AI, and it is that subset of AI where computers learn from data without being explicitly programmed. So you do not have to sit down in front of the computer and provide instructions step by step for it to learn how to perform tasks. However, you can just provide it with some historical data and some experiences, and it can use that data and the experiences to learn on its own to recognize some patterns. So you will be hearing about concepts such as algorithms. I will talk about data analysis as well as neural networks. All of these are sometimes considered to be key concepts in the context of AI and machine learning. Deep learning, on the other hand, is the final subset of machine learning. Okay, it's one of the subsets. We have so many types of machine learning algorithms, and deep learning is one of those. So if you have a deep learning algorithm, okay, it is that type of algorithm that is powered by neural networks. So you have, as I said, hundreds of thousands, of machine learning algorithms. Some of them are mostly statistical algorithms, so they come up with some statistics, and some are mathematical. So, however, we have some of them that are based on neural networks. Neural networks, these are some algorithms that try to mimic how the brain, how the human brain works. So these are some algorithms that were developed by uh, these researchers, so that they will try to be working in the same manner our brains work. And the reason why they did that is because it was agreed that humans are very good at pattern recognition. So we can see something once and we'll be able to categorize what we've seen, good or bad, and also come up with the right decisions to take for that particular situation or object. So, and that is one thing that made our brains to be amazing. So the idea is, how do we simulate this kind of process of our brains and use them mathematically to carry out tasks? And that's where deep learning comes into play. All right. So, has it been used in the context of finance? Yes, we will see that AI and machine learning have been used in the banking industry to carry out fraud detection. So, if you have data, all right, that you are trying to, let's say, uh, you have some email coming in, and this email is from a scammer. So, normally there is that first line of defense that you have, which is an AI based line of defense. So once you receive the email, this AI will analyze the email. If the email is likely a scam, it is going to detect it and prevent it from even dropping in your inbox. If it manages to drop, then it might categorize it as a junk or spam email. Okay, so all this is some of the ways they use it in the banking industry. Not only that, even your transactions in the bank. So they might have this AI that tries to kind of, what will I say, model your behavior as a customer. So they know, as you as a customer, this is the way you normally transact. This is mostly the likely amount you withdraw or you deposit or stuff like that. So once they start to see some anomalous behavior, they can say, okay, this is very likely an anomalous behavior. So let us either block the account, till we call this customer to know whether he is the one who is initiating that transaction or not. So they do this in the banking sector. In the financial, let's say, market, so in the financial market, in the Wall Street, they use these techniques of AI and machine learning to carry out their algorithmic trading strategies. So they build algorithmic trading strategies, embedded embed them with AI or machine learning. And this is because the financial market has huge amount of data that is readily available for anyone who wants to use it. So you can have that access to all that data. And if you can be able to develop a system that can mine that data and make some sense of it, then you will end up having something very powerful. Okay. So that is the algorithmic trading approach that is used in the financial sector. We have the customer service. This is used in most of applications. It doesn't have to be financial application. It could be used in the educational application, health application, business operations, and what have you, marketing and what have you. So the idea here is we want to put another line of interaction before a customer is able to have direct communication with a human agent, thereby reducing the workload on those human agents, for example. So you have a customer who has an issue and wants to complain or something, he can interact with that AI system, and that AI system will try to come up with solutions that are fitting to resolve the issue of that particular customer. Only when it fails, then it will try to maybe forward this request of the customer to a human agent. And by doing that, lots of inquiries and issues are addressed. Okay. So it is used significantly in the financial sector as well. We have the tasks of machine learning. So this is a very good key takeaway. Okay, I will encourage you to try to understand this part. So when you are talking about machine learning tasks, it's important to understand the capabilities of machine learning so that you will have an idea where and what to use machine learning for. Okay, machine learning can perform these three tasks. We have the supervised learning task, unsupervised learning task, and reinforcement learning task. So, what do we mean by supervised learning tasks? These are the types of tasks where you have data as well as the target or the label. All right. What I mean is, for example, consider yourself being the one who is responsible in teaching your sibling how to identify animals. Okay. So, what do? You can come home with pictures of animals and you try to show your sibling each animal. You tell him, okay, look at this picture. This is a lion. This is a cat. This is a dog. This is a car. Oh, car is not an animal. All right. So this is your horse, something like that. So you have provided the sample data and you provided the corresponding target or the label. Okay. So you are the supervisor and you are the one who tells him if you ask that sibling of yours, what is this? And he tells you this is a cat. When you are holding a picture of a dog, you tell him, no, 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 you are wrong. This is a dog, not a cat. So you are the one who tells him that he is doing things wrong. And this is the supervised learning approach. And it comes in two types. We have regression and classification. So the example I just cited is classification type approach, where you say this is a cat, this is a dog, so you are giving categories. But if what you are teaching him is to try to make prediction of a value, okay? Let's say you are teaching him how to, uh, you know, how to estimate a value of a house. So you are a real estate broker and you have this mentee who you are trying to teach how to evaluate houses and come up with a very fair value for those houses. So you go around with him, you show him, okay, this is the first sample, this is the first house. Look at this house. Okay, it has this number of rooms. This is the size of the house. The house is very near to the head, to the highway. Uh, the house was built, let's say, a few years ago, 2 or 3 or 10 years ago. Based on this, we value this house at this particular price. Okay, we take him to the second house, we do the same thing. You have all this data, so you tell him, okay, you can see these are the data, these are the features that determine the price of the house. Look at them, try to understand the pattern that made us make the evaluations. And once you do, let's test you out. Let's go to a new house. You are the one now who will tell me the price. Okay. So you go to a new house. He tells you, yeah, I think based on what I understood when we were going around is if these features are like this is supposed to be the value. Therefore, this house should be evaluated at this price. If he tells you the right thing, you give him yes. Okay. If he tells you the wrong value, you can correct him. So the point here is what you are predicting or what you are teaching him to predict is a continuous value. And this kind of problem is called regression problem. And you have the supervisor, so it's a supervised learning approach. This is used in financial market to predict prices. Okay, so if I know, for example, yesterday the stock market, okay, I know I picked, let's say, a particular stock. Let me assume that I pick, let's say, Tesla. All right, I know Tesla, and I know some of the features that I take into consideration if I'm a fundamental analyst. I want to look at the fundamentals of the company, the ratios, like the price to earnings ratio. I know all these values. Using this, I make my decision. So let's say I have all my trades recorded, 10, 20, 30 trades, all recorded, and then I give it to a friend of mine. So this, based on these ratios, this was the predicted price because I was predicting Tesla is going to reach this value, and this is what it reached. So you have all this. And using that, the student is able to also learn how to make this prediction. And that's exactly what you can use the supervised learning approach using the regression algorithms. The unsupervised learning, on the other hand, is the process where you teach the model to learn data pattern without giving him implicit, target. All right. So, for example, if you look at the case of cat and dog, where we have all these images of cats and dogs, and we provide it to the sibling, and we try to tell him the name of each image so that he can be able to understand the pattern and categorize images. Here, we don't tell the name. We only provide the images. We allow the student or the sibling to learn on his own. So it is up to him to figure out the ones that look the same. So he can be able to say, okay, these ones are likely belonging to one cluster. These ones too likely belong to another cluster. So I will have two different clusters, one cluster for cats, one cluster for dog. Of course, he doesn't know the name, but from just looking at all the data, he could be able to identify some pattern, which he now says, okay, this one belongs to this, and this one belongs to this cluster. All right. So this kind of approach is an unsupervised learning approach. We have data, we have samples, but we don't have value. It's like going to have all these samples of houses without knowing the prices of each house. So it's up to you to just look at the houses to try to say, okay, these guys must likely belong to the same class of houses. This ones to belong to another class of houses. I don't know though how much each class is going to be priced at. Reinforcement learning, on the other hand, doesn't require data. In fact, here the data is assumed to be absent. So what happens is learning takes place, or learning occurs via trial and error. Okay, trial and error. So you have this agent that you will deploy in an environment. For example, let's assume the environment is the financial market. So you have this agent who wants to learn how to trade. He doesn't know how to trade. There is nobody to teach him. So all he does was to just go to the market with his money in his pocket, and he buys and sells, buys and sells, buys and sells. At the end of the day, the return he obtains will tell him whether his purchases were good or terrible. You know, so he will record his trades for the day, and he will record some occurrences. This happened, and when I made this particular purchase, things like this happen in the market. Maybe the ratios are like this, or the technical indicators are like this, and I made the purchase. At the beginning, I don't know how to look at those in technical indicators to have an idea what is going to be a fair price. I don't know. All I know is these are the values of the technical indicators, and when I made this purchase, I know the time. Since I know the time stamp, I can easily, let's say, go back and look at the values of the technical indicators. So with this, maybe today I lost all my money. The next day I go back to the market. I try to start to figure out, okay, yeah, yesterday when things happen like this and I made a purchase, I lost my money. So maybe let me try to avoid making this same purchase and buy something else. So this way I get more data. So the more I interact with the environment, the more data I get, the more I learn. So this is a reinforcement learning approach. There is no specific data in the first place. I only gain knowledge via interaction with the environment. So in our previous sessions, we have discussed how supervised learning is used, how unsupervised learning as well as reinforcement learning are used in the context of financial trading and investing. We've developed strategies that employ these three techniques. Okay, so this type of machine learning is called predictive analytics or predictive AI. We are trying to make prediction. Natural language processing could either be predictive or generative AI. It could be a predictive AI or generative AI, depending on how you look at it. If you are trying to just make prediction, when I see something, I try to tell whether this is a good thing or bad thing, I can assume that to be a predictive AI technique. But if I'm trying to generate, let's say I tell, like, you are using ChatGPT, you are speaking with it, and it is also returning text, for you as a response. This type of AI is called generative AI. So in the case of natural language processing, when we talk about it, we're talking about that field, okay, at the intersection of computer science, AI, and linguistics. So when you have these three things coming together, that's where you have natural language processing. It normally focuses on the interaction between computers and human languages. particularly how to program computers to process and analyze large amounts of natural language data. So when you speak with ChatGPT, it is able to understand you, interpret what you've said, as well as even give you the right response. Okay. Some of the tasks that are associated with NLP include text translation. So you can give it a text, it will take in the text and it will translate the text. For example, you can provide text in English, it will take that text and it will make it in Spanish or in Arabic or in Portuguese. Sentiment analysis. Okay, this type of so text translation is generative approach, right? Because when you give it English and it generates Portuguese, it is generating a translation. Okay, so this is generative AI technique if you are solving that problem. However, sentiment analysis, on the other hand, is classification. So what you are saying is, I will give you a news article, I will give you a sentence, I will give you a paragraph. I want you to tell me what is the sentiment, what is the feeling of people during this time. Is it a positive sentiment? The writer has a positive sentiment when writing. Is it a negative sentiment or is it a neutral sentiment? Okay, so that is sentiment analysis. So you can say sentiment analysis is what? It's a predictive AI technique because we are predicting one of three things: neutral, positive, or negative. For the case of speech recognition, another task of NLP, here we try to speak, and when we speak, we try to have the computer understand our speech. Okay, so this is the idea. You have the computer, you speak to it, can understand what you say, and by doing that, it provides you with a response or it carries out its task on your behalf. For example, you have Alexa, okay, an IoT device that can help you do your day-to-day activity, house assistant, for example. You have Cortana, you have Siri, you have Google Voice Assistant, and so on. So these ones too are a combination sometimes of both predictive and generative AI techniques. So NLP come in different types. We have what we call the rule-based NLP, the statistical NLP, and the neural NLP. So for the case of rule-based, we set up some rules. We say when things happen like this is what happens. If this is the case, this is the output, something like that. And that's how you put the system to be able to understand and interpret language. The case of statistical NLP, here you have huge data, you train the model, and then you rely on statistical methods to infer the meaning of new sentences. This is like the machine learning. So as I told you earlier, this is why we did that primer, that overview of machine learning. We said that there are different machine learning techniques. Most of them, they are based on statistical methods, okay? Statistical methods. So they have this probability distribution they generate for the data, and based on that, they are able to make predictions in new data sets. So these are the type of statistical NLP you come across. However, as we said also, there are some specific types of machine learning algorithms that use what we call the neural networks. And those ones is what we call the deep learning approaches. Okay, so there are also algorithms for natural language processing that utilize neural networks as their engine. One of those applications is the ChatGPT, okay, Google Bard, Bing Chat. All these guys have a neural network or deep learning technique behind them. Okay, but before all this, there has been all these types of natural language processing machines out there that can be used and utilized to do processing. But of course, not as powerful as the current neural network natural language processing systems. So there are some techniques related to NLP which you might come across. For example, we have tokenization. When we talk about tokenization, we're talking about the art of breaking the text into sentences. So if you have huge paragraph, maybe of 10, 20, 30 sentences, we can break each word to be one token. Okay. We have the thing that is called theming and lemmatization. Here we are talking about reducing words to their base form. So if you have some words that are long, for example, tokenization is very long, we can just reduce it to its base, which is token. So with token, we can at least have some sense of what is going on. By doing this, we reduce the computational complexity of the algorithm. We have part of speech tagging. So in grammar, we have, verbs, nouns, adjectives, proverbs, and what have you. So we can also do that, like every word we tag it with its part of speech. We can say this is a verb, this is a noun, and all this. Okay, this is also a technique that is used. We have NER, or on another term called named entity recognition. Here we try to identify and classify key information. So if you have a text, you want to say, okay, this particular name or this particular word in this paragraph is a name of a place, or it is a name of a person, So this is kind of identifying and classifying the text. You have syntax analysis. Here you try to understand the grammatical structure of a sentence, see how good it is. We have semantic analysis. Here we try to understand the semantics, embedded in that word or in that text. So what is the meaning of the text? That is the semantics. Syntax is how good grammatically is the text structured. Sometimes it can be syntactically correct but semantically wrong, We have machine translation. This is just translating from one language to another language. We have word embeddings. This is where we take the words that we have and make them into numbers. Computers understand numbers. So if you have words written in English, you have to convert the words into numbers. That's mostly word embedding. So these are some of the techniques you will be coming across if you are dealing with natural language processing. And when it comes to the type of NLP for machine learning, we have, for example, the techniques where MLP is based on machine learning. As I said, NLP could be either of the three types. You have the statistical NLP, the neural NLP, or the rule-based NLP. Okay, so looking at machine learning, of course, you can have huge amount of data. Maybe news article, you have it, and then you train it. So you have this news and you have like the label, whether this is a positive sentiment, so we can use it for that positive sentiment, negative sentiment, or neutral sentiment. So once we train the model, then we expect it to be able to do sentiment analysis for us. Another one is, let's say, translation. Let's say we pick a word in English and we want to translate it in French or Portuguese or something like that. So we write the corresponding English sentence or word and its corresponding translation in the other language that we are trying to translate. So by doing that, we train the model to work. And this is in using machine learning techniques. Okay, and such techniques include the naive Bayes, support vector machines, decision trees, random forest. You can use any of these or all the others that are in the ML category to do this kind of task. However, in the case of the deep learning, here where you are using neural networks, we want to use all these complex layers, put them together, and we try to allow the network on its own to try to figure out pattern and learn on its own. Okay, the initial ones are the RNNs that were used initially to have this power. Then we have LSTMs, which are a modification of the RNNs. Okay, then now we have the transformers. So if you are using GPT, ChatGPT, so one type of neural network is called a transformer network. It is the type of deep learning algorithm that is powering ChatGPT. So this is for the case of this. And since we have this transformer, I think it was in 2017, yeah, when Google published the paper on transformers. I think they titled the paper "Attention is All You Need." That is the name of the paper. So from there, we had this massive uptick in the AI world, where AI now can be put in the hands of everybody. Before, AI systems are mostly, used in-house or internally, and their functionality is hidden from normal users. But now, when these transformers come into play, and by 2021, 2022 November, ChatGPT was released by OpenAI, and everything changed. Now we are now living in this new era where everybody has, you know, come to understand the power of AI and what it can do. So, in the context of finance, because that is our on focus of today, AI or natural language processing is used, for example, to analyze financial reports. So if you have huge financial reports and you would like to have some system that can help you analyze that report, you can use these tools and they will do that for you. You have news, you want to analyze the news. You don't have all day, you don't have all the time to sit and read every news article out there. But if you have these tools, they can help you do that. Social media, there is only too much information or too much things you can do at a time. You have all these pages, these handles, and so many things. If you have these tools, they can help you aggregate the news, aggregate the social media feeds, and make summary for you, for example, or give you some insights into what is really going on. So, for example, the sentiment. Okay, you can have, let's say, a system that is there monitoring social media feeds. So when you have any news related to Tesla, if you are interested in Tesla or Apple, that is your interest, you want to see what is the sentiment behind that, that feed, that social media post. Are people happy with the post when they were making the post? Are they talking positive things about Apple, or are they talking negative things, or it's just a normal random post? So when you have this, you can aggregate them and you can come up with a final aggregation that people are really happy about Tesla, or about Apple. So it's a good chance for me to buy Apple because people are happy, So this is how they use it in sentiment analysis. Okay. In real life, most of the case studies you will come across will always come behind these guys. These are the big guns in Wall Street, and they have been using these techniques and these tools for ages now. Renaissance Technologies, BlackRock, Citadel, Charles Schwab, JP Morgan. All of them have used one or two or combination of all of the techniques we've discussed, in this session so far. So the good thing is now you can also take advantage of that. And what we're going to look at next is how you can utilize these techniques we've just discussed to actually come up with a system that can help you in a practical financial market. Okay, and that's going to follow a particular framework which I normally follow to show people how exactly they can utilize and apply those tools in the context of financial market. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I will start this second section of the workshop. If you have question, you can open your mic or you can send it in the chat. All right.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Vincent.
Oh, nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you. Sorry, I came in a little late. You were already talking about the finance. I think that would be, I don't know, maybe fifth slide or so. So I just wanted to ask, the recording of this class, would you have it somewhere sent to our mail or on YouTube so that we can listen again?
Yes, it will be provided. I will show you how to access the recordings before the end of the session.
Okay. Then again, I wanted to ask again, is this a product you are trying to sell, or is this like a master's class or something? I didn't get the full gist.
Yeah, it's a master class that
Okay.
It is a workshop that is kind of a master class to bring people up to speed into how AI is used in the financial market. Okay.
Oh, okay. The focus here is on financial markets alone, right?
Yes, I will have, of course, other workshops in other fields coming months. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Any other question? Okay, no question. All right. So let's go and look at how this can be applied in the financial market. All right. So for those who have some idea of the financial market, we all know that there are always three things involved when you are trading or investing. First of all, you have the strategy, then you have the psychology, and then lastly, you have the management aspect. Okay, so the psychology, the strategy is these are the rules you follow when you are trying to buy and sell. And this applies to every type of trading. It doesn't have to be even the one in the financial market. Even if you are going to buy and sell, right, in the normal day-to-day shopping you do, you must have a strategy in place. For example, you have a certain amount of money in your wallet and you don't want to buy things that are outside your own purchasing power and stuff like that. And this is where you go to buy. This is the type of mall you go, and this is the type of product you buy. So all this is part of your strategy. Same thing applies to when you are going to the financial market. Even though things have been made a lot easier, you have everything at the tips of your at your fingertips. You can just use your mobile and do whatever you want to do. There has to be a strategy. You can't just go in and just be throwing your money because you will end up blowing up your account. Okay. The next thing is the psychology. So this is the emotional state. This is your emotional state when you are buying or selling. Why are you buying? Why are you selling? What is your emotions during that time? Are you happy when you are buying? Or are you buying for the sake of revenge on the market? Maybe yesterday you lost money and today you came with a revenge mindset. You have to get your money back from the market. Are you being greedy? Are you being hopeful or fearful? All these are the things that really matter when buying or selling. And last part is the management. How do you manage your portfolio, your account? How do you manage all that? Okay. So when you put these three things together, that's when you will come up with a full trading strategy. You shouldn't lack any of this. You have to figure out how to put your emotions in check, how to manage your account, and how to buy or sell. So the context of algorithmic trading. When you are talking about algorithmic trading, this is the process where these three components are automated. Instead of doing these three manually, write things down and follow them yourself, doing everything yourself. Here you delegate everything to the computer. What you have to do is to just sit down, come up with your own strategy that you develop, and then you make it into a machine code, that the machine can work with, you know, your management. How do you want to manage your money? You tell it to the computer and it will do all that for you. And when it comes to the psychology, well, computers don't have emotions in the first place. So this second component is taken care of automatically for you. Okay. And not only that, some of the benefits that this algorithmic trading brings to the table is the efficiency and speed. You cannot be as fast as computers, consistency as well, and as I said, the management. Here, one thing that everybody who has traded knows is that you hardly stick to your guns. You hardly stick to your plan. You come with a plan, and then somehow, you go and tweak whatever it is you have instead of sticking to your strategy. Or you are biased. You have a strategy of buying. When something happens, that's when you buy. But because maybe you are hearing lots of stories from people, you just decided to put aside your logic and decide to just go in and buy. In this case, you don't have this issue. Backtesting capabilities, this is where you have the ability to use historical data to test a strategy you come up with. Let's say you come up with a strategy and you don't know whether it is good or bad. The good thing is if you have historical data, you can execute the strategy over the history, and then based on that, okay, you can now come up with the final verdict upon that strategy if it is good or bad. However, if you want to do it manually, then you have to sit, and try to do things in the present or the future, and that's the difference here. Okay. Lastly, we have the scalability. So how does things scale? How do things scale? For example, if you let's say want to monitor different assets, there is only so much you can do. Maybe you can monitor 5 or 6 at a time. What happens if you have no opportunities in that 5 or 6 assets that you are monitoring. But assuming your chance of getting a trade is, let's say, 1%, okay, and you are checking every 1 hour, and you have 10 hours during the day, okay, that means you can monitor 10, okay, and 10. So 10 times 10, you can monitor a maximum of 100 trade opportunities to see if they will pop up. You can sit and have that. So 1%, that means you can only have one opportunity popping up throughout the day for you. Only one opportunity. But if you have these robots, each one of them doing the same thing you are doing, and you have 10 of these robots, that means you can come across 10 opportunities that you even have to maybe cherry pick the best one, the best opportunity before you go in. What happens if you have 100 of them? That gives you 100 opportunities. You know, so your chances of getting the best opportunities are higher if you have this trading bot and you can have that skill. When it comes to the tools, because we are going to build a trading bot, and that is the uh, thing we are discussing in this section. These are the tools that I would like to show you how to use them in building a trading bot. One is the ChatGPT, two Google Colab, Python libraries is the third, and then we have Alpaca API. So ChatGPT, basically, one thing that I like with it is when you come up with a strategy, you don't want to just go and start trying. You can have ChatGPT as your brainstorming buddy. You sit with it, tell it your strategy, and ask it how good the strategy is, and it will help you, give you feedback, gives you some insight and all that. After it tells you everything, the loopholes, all the blind spots, and everything, you can now improve your strategy based on its recommendation. Then you can tell it to generate the code, the Python code, or the Java code, or the meta code, whichever programming language you are using. You can get the executable code that you can go and deploy in your uh, programming environment, okay, development environment, so that you can have your strategy automated. You do not have to be there, okay. So that's why I like this tool, because it makes the bot creation process easier. The Colab, Google Colab. Why am I using Google Colab? Okay, so because what I'm doing, what I'm showing you is things related to AI, machine learning, natural language processing. And there is no programming language out there that can beat Python. Python is actually the language of AI. Okay, so most of the tools that are for AI, that are powering AI, are built with Python. Okay, of course, there could be some other languages that can do that, but Python is so far the best when it comes to this. And for that reason, all the codes I will be getting from ChatGPT will be in Python. So if I get the Python codes, I want to execute them. And one development environment is this Google Colab. So you can get the code from ChatGPT and you can run the Python code in Google Colab. It is free. You can use it. It allows you to collaborate with other people. And what I said earlier about backtesting, you can do all that in Google Colab. You can run complex simulations and models, and because of AI, of course, you can do lots of data analysis and visualization. The next tools are the Python libraries. Okay, each one of these is a tool on its own, but I just put them under one single, super tool. I call them Python libraries. And this tool, each one is doing one particular thing. They provide additional functionalities to your Python development environment, because this is like you trying to build a car, okay? And you have all these specifications for the parts of your car. You have two options. Either you build everything from scratch, or you go and buy spare parts and assemble things and get things done. And that's exactly what these libraries are doing. Instead of for you to, figure out how to build everything from scratch, you can go and get some few things and just design your system into a way that it can fit with these ones that are already built. Okay, we have pandas. This allows you to do data analysis, NumPy, numerical computation, Matplotlib library for getting visualizations such as pie chart, bar chart, histograms, and what have you. Why Finance? Yahoo Finance allows you to have access to the real-time data, real-time financial data. So if you have, let's say Tesla or Google, which you are monitoring, you can get all the data you require about how it went last year, yesterday, 2 days ago, and what have you. TA library, this is the technical analysis library, allows you to get access to all those technical analysis indicators. Scikit-learn, if you want to use machine learning, Scikit-learn has made so many things a lot easier. You can access many algorithms. TensorFlow for deep learning. So we're talking about NLP. So TensorFlow and PyTorch, these are for deep learning. They allow you to do that. Okay. News API, since we are doing natural language processing, we have to have access to some news, right? Or some text based input. And that's where the news API will come into play. You can use it to get text. Natural Language Toolkit NLTK allows us to carry out some natural language tasks, okay, some tasks of natural language on our text. OpenAI, this is a very common tool also that is used for maybe reinforcement learning, also as well as natural language processing. So you can use these tools to do so many things in this regard. Okay, so the last tool is, okay, let's say you have talked to ChatGPT, you brainstorm the strategy, you got the code, you put the code in in Google Colab, you run the code, you tested the code, you are happy with the strategy because it is what? Profitable. The next thing is you would like to now deploy this strategy in the real market. You just don't want to have things in your computer, right? You want to now put the strategy in the real market so that it can make you money. And to do that, if you want to interact with the market, the financial market, you always need a brokerage account. You have to go to a broker who is licensed. He will create an account for you. And whenever you want to buy any stock, any forex or pair, currency pair or crypto or whatever, you have to go to that person, give him your money, and then he buys the asset on your behalf. Okay, of course, now it is all automated, it is all digital. You use your mobile phone. So they provide you with an app which you can access the financial market and buy from them. So you have the app. By default, how they build the app is for you to be doing things manually. You go, you open, you look at Tesla, you look at Google, you look at Facebook, you like their stock, you buy, and you wait for things to go well, right? However, if you have the code now on a separate environment, how do you connect the code with that account that you have, with the software, with the app that was provided to you by the broker? So that's where you need an API. An application programming interface will build the bridge for you to be sending commands from your code so that it will be executed on your brokerage account. Okay. So this is how it works. Alpaca is one of those brokers, Alpaca Securities, and they have provided an API that allows building the bridge between the two different environments. There are others out there, but Alpaca is one of those few ones that provide commission-free API. Okay, so I recommend it if you want to just do things in that manner. All right. So we have components of our algorithmic trading bot. So if you're going to have any strategy, normally it comes now the strategy, not the whole component of trading. Now strategy, it has to have three things. Okay. One, it has to have a signal. This tells you when there is a trading opportunity so that you buy into that and enter a trade based on that opportunity. You have the second part, which is the order type. So now that you've supported or you found an opportunity, when do you buy in or when do you enter the trade? Are you going to enter immediately, which is the market order type? Are you going to wait till things improve because things are going to improve so that you have more profit margin? Or are you going to wait till things start going in your own way? So if you are predicting things are going to rise, are you going to wait till things start to rise, start to go up before you buy? That's the order type. Lastly, we have risk management. This is how you manage your money. When you see an opportunity, are you going to put all your money or are you going to just put a portion of the money? Okay, so that's position sizing. And then now that you have entered the trade with only maybe 5% of your money, you have bought into Facebook. When are you going to get out of the trade? Do you plan to stay in the trade until the end of, let's say, what will I say? Maybe you are even holding the position till your grandchildren come and inherit from you. Or no, you have a plan. Once you reach a certain level, once Facebook now is at, was, let's say 500, the moment Facebook reaches 800, you want to sell Facebook and make your profit. Okay. Stop loss is if your prediction is wrong, then how much are you willing to lose? Okay, that's your stop loss so that it doesn't hold your position and you keep losing money. All right, so now to sentiment analysis. So these are the three components, and we will see how we will use natural language processing to build this component. However, for the sake of the workshop, I'm going to use sentiment analysis for only the signaling part. Signaling part means I want to identify an opportunity based on sentiment. Okay, so that's where I will use sentiment analysis. And normally, sentiment analysis comes in three values. You have positive sentiment, negative sentiment, or neutral sentiment. Okay, assuming you have a plan tomorrow to go out and maybe walk in the beach. You have this plan because you looked at the news and they told you that, yeah, the weather tomorrow is good. But then you start to read, social media. You start to hear all these sentiments. People are talking about maybe that news outlet. Those guys are not trustworthy. They will tell you one thing about the weather and another thing will happen. They don't have any backing data or science behind their predictions. So with that sentiment, you are like, okay, I think I have to change my mind. I'm not going out again because people are giving very negative reviews about this company that made this prediction. Okay. So same thing happens also in the financial market. Let's say you did your analysis, you are happy with, let's say, with Google, you're happy with their stock. All the technical indicators are showing very good signs, and you are fully convinced that I should go and buy Google. But then something happened. News comes out. People are now, you know, not happy. Maybe Google did something. There was that time when Google released Google Bard. Yeah, that was a funny day. You know, they were trying to compete with OpenAI when they released ChatGPT, and they decided to just release the Google Bard to the public for people to try. And when they released that tool, it actually backfired because it was giving very, very wrong information and wrong answers and wrong responses. And before you know it, social media blew up with people writing all these negative things about Google AI. The chatbot of Google is terrible. It was giving false information. Before you know, if you go and look at the chart of Google stock, you will see it took a very deep dive. Even though Google had very good indicators, but because of those news and the sentiment of the people, their stock price fell. You know, so this is important. If you're going to go into this too, you have to take news into consideration. The people's sentiment always matters. The financial market is nothing but the mapping of the people's mind, and that's why Newton, right, when he was involved in that Southwest issue, and he lost all his life savings. What he said was that he can predict even heavy mass. Like he can do calculations about all these astro materials, stars and what have you. But when it comes to predicting how people think, he really fails at that. And of course, the whole Isaac Newton lost his life savings in the financial market. Okay, and he got greedy. Actually, it was his psychology. He went in, he made a lot of money. He was like, things are not adding up. How can you make huge amount of money like within this small amount of time? And he decided to withdraw his money, and he made huge fortune from his withdrawal. Then later on, he saw that people are still buying, people are still making fortune from it. He decided not to even, put back the returns he made. He put everything, his returns plus his original investment. And this is Isaac Newton, one of the greatest minds of our time. He also got greedy, like he doesn't want to lose out. So the fear of losing out is one of the greatest issues you face during trading in the financial market. So he put all his money back and he lost everything. Okay, so this is important. We want to understand the sentiment of people so that we don't lose. Okay, that is the signal. So when people are happy, I will buy. When people are not happy, I will sell. And some of the techniques that are used in natural language processing include lexicon based, machine learning based, and deep learning based. I've discussed this, right? Machine learning, you have historical data and you have the sentiment of people, you can have it and train the algorithm which follows statistics, or deep learning that have neural networks as its engine. It trains your model and it tries to come up with the sentiment, positive, negative, or neutral, or the lexicon based. Okay. This sentiment analysis, we've said this, it can be implemented in different fields. Business intelligence, for example, can implement it in the financial markets, as we've seen here, in politics and public policy. Let's say you are working uh, with a politician who wants to maybe make a policy, but he wants to know what is the people, how people are people happy, what's going to be the sentiment of the people before he makes the policy, so that he doesn't lose his approval rating. You know, so you can use this tool to help analyze all social media feeds about a particular topic. You can throw out a topic, see how people are, feeling about that particular topic before you come up with a policy regarding that field. Healthcare as well. You want to maybe come up with a solution, a medical kind of app or something like that, and you would like to see, will people accept this drug or something like that before you even go and spend huge amounts of money. Okay, so now let's see, how is this going to be applied in the context of trading and investing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is simple. I have four scenarios. The first scenario is, if, okay, assuming I like, let's say, Google stock. Okay, then I go and read newspaper about Google the first day in the morning. What I see from the news is, if I did not, assuming here now, I did not buy Google yet, I have not yet bought into Google. This is my first trade for the day. So if I am in no position, right? So if no position, and then I check, and the sentiment is positive. Okay, and the sentiment is positive, meaning that people are happy about Google, I will go long. So I'm going to buy Google. That means going long. Okay, that means going long. The second scenario is, if, yeah, in the morning when I woke up and started looking at news, I checked and then I saw that the sentiment about Google is negative, you know, meaning maybe something happened. Google maybe have done something wrong. I'm going to go short. So by going short, what I'm doing is I will go to the broker. Let's say Google is now 200. I will go to the broker, tell him, you know what, borrow me 10 shares of Google at 200. That is what? $2,000, right? Then I will sell it and make my $2,000 and keep it in my pocket, because people are not happy. By the end of the day, Google now is 150. Okay, I will buy 150 shares at 10 of them. That is what? 1,500. Okay, I will buy 10 shares, each one at $150. Okay, then I will take these 10 shares back to the broker. I tell him, okay, take back your stock. I don't need it anymore. By doing this, I have made what? $500 profit. So I can either go long, meaning buy if I think it is going to go up, I buy, or I can go short if I think things are going to be terrible for that particular asset. Okay, so this is the logic. This is the second scenario. The third scenario, okay, is if I'm in no position. Okay, when I woke up and I started reading the newspaper, and then the sentiment is neutral. There is nothing good or bad about Google, for example. Okay, so I will hold. I will not buy. I will just stay and hold my money until maybe during the day I get good news, then I buy. Okay. The fourth scenario is, I am already in position. If I am in position now, I have already bought, maybe in the morning I bought, but now new news, you know, and the sentiment is still the same thing with the previous sentiment. Okay, this remains the same. So I will still maintain my position. So people are happy about Google in the morning and they are still happy about Google at the end of the day. So I will hold. There is no point buying again. I will just hold so that I don't buy and have duplicate positions. The last one is if I am in position and sentiment reverse, So when I bought, people are happy about Google. But after maybe an hour, a news came out, people are no longer happy about Google. Here I will exit. I will get out of the trade. I will sell all my positions in Google so that I don't lose my money. Okay? So these are my plan. This is my logic. I will define all these strategies to Google Chat GPT and we will have a discussion whether this makes sense or not. All right? So I believe this is clear. So the next thing is the market order. The market order, this is all about how am I going to buy once I realize I have a good opportunity. Should I buy immediately or should I wait? That's the order type. So what I want to do is to buy immediately. Okay. The moment I see good news, I just want to buy. So my order type will be the market order type. Okay. So this is for this. And then risk management. So how do I intend to manage my money, my risk? First of all, my position sizing. I don't want to put more than 2% of my account balance. Okay. I don't want to put more than 2% of my account balance. And then my risk to reward ratio, my RRR should be at least 1:2. Meaning if I'm hoping to win, let's say, make 200 in the market, then I don't plan to lose more than 100. Meaning if I make 400, then my loss should not exceed, you know, 200. So this is my risk management. For example, let's say now Google is 500, okay? $500 now. So my hope is to make what? Because I'm willing to sacrifice 2% of my account. And if my account is $10,000, for example, okay, 2% of $10,000, that is what? 2% of $10,000, that is $200, right? So 2% is what? 2% is what? $200. So this is what I can afford to lose. So if Google now, this is my entry price, EP is 500, and I'm willing to lose 200. Okay, let's remove 200. So that means $300 is once Google falls to $300, I'm going to sell, okay, and get out so that my loss does not exceed 200. And this position is called the stop loss. Okay, the same thing if my entry price is 500, since I'm willing to lose 200, my own plan is then I am hoping to make twice that if I am right. If my prediction is correct, I'm hoping to make twice. That means the moment I reach the $900 level, I'm going to sell. And this position, this level is called the take profit. Okay. So this is my risk management in place. That's what I intend to do to manage my account so that I don't lose my money. And this is the framework that I always follow. First of all, I discuss this strategy, which I have already talked to you with ChatGPT. If he is happy, then we will go ahead and build it. Okay, so we will set up the environment, we'll check the sentiment, test the connection, or test the strategy, then test connection, and then you automate the trades. This can be interchanged. You can have this before this. Okay, these two you can have this before this. It's all the same. Okay, so it doesn't matter, but always this one has to come last. Okay, this one if you interchange them is fine. This one sometimes can come, this one can also come after you've done this. Two one can come later, but the point is you have to have an idea before you know that. Okay, So questions and answers before we move to the next section, which is building the bot. So to show you how it is done in practical manner. So if you have questions, you can send them in the chat, or you can open up your mic. Otherwise, I will start the demo. All right, I believe there are no questions, so I will start. All right, let's see. I will share my screen. So these are my tools. Okay, I have Alpaca, which allows me to have access to the market. Okay, I have ChatGPT, which I will discuss my strategy with. Then I have Google Colab, which I will execute my code. Okay, so starting, we can now start with, let's say, uh, talking about this, yeah, the strategy. So this is my strategy. I defined it that I want to use NLP to build a strategy, and this is the logic which I explained to you, and this is the everything I discussed with you. Set this accordingly. Okay, this is where if everything remains the same, we are going to maintain. We're not going to go out. If things have changed, the sentiment has reversed. This is where we said, okay, and we're talking about how we enter the market. It's the market order type which we follow. Risk management. This is how we manage our risk. Assuming our initial capital is this 2% is the maximum I'm willing to lose, and my risk to reward ratio is 1:2. So I told it to let me know if it understood this before we move to the next step, and it gave me a summary of everything, and everything was perfect. So I was happy, and then we moved to the next step. Okay. So the next step was to test the sentiment analysis. Actually, I started with that. Okay. So idea here is I have everything here. Okay. So these are all the steps, and these are the things you can follow. Okay, this is the step one. So if you follow these steps and give all of this information, starting with step one, you can copy this part and you give it to ChatGPT. It will give you the right response. If you require a code, it will provide you with the code. This is the second step for the strategy, what I fed in there, and that's what I did. This is the next step for the natural language processing, where we do the sentiment analysis. Okay, so you need to get your key from the news API. I got my key. All right. So you can also get your key. Don't go to news API, get your key. All right. I got everything right, and I performed the analysis. This is how you do back testing. You test the strategy, and these are the final steps. So this document also will be provided for those who want to replicate the same steps and also get results. Okay, so this is how you use ChatGPT. I have used it. For example, here I started with asking it, I want to use the news API, and it gave me this code. Okay, this is the code it gave me, told me to get my API key, and to get the API key starting here, it told me in step one, go to news, sign up to get your API key. Okay, so this is it. That's the first thing. Just follow everything step by step. It just gave me all this code, and once I got the code, I came to Google Colab here, and I was pasting the codes one by one. Okay, as it provided. So for the sake of time, I will just run this code that I got from ChatGPT, following the prompts and the response. Whenever you get any error in your code, just come and you can tell it that you got an error, and it will work on that. Okay. For example, I was doing some coding, I got this error. So I told it I got this error, I copied all the error commands and I pasted it. So we have been doing things like this in the previous sessions. You have the recordings, you can go and see everything. So, all right, so let's look at this. I set up my environment to install all those Python libraries. Then I now try to do the sentiment analysis. I fetched the latest news about Apple. Okay, about Apple. I wanted to get things in English and they should be sorted by publish at. So latest news first. And these are the news articles, you can look at them. Starting from the first one was the author was Ben Lovejoy. Okay. This is the title Next Generation Siri likely to be launched in iOS 18 with ChatGPT style capabilities. Amazing. This is a very positive news. If I see this, I'm supposed to buy. So we will see whether this news is going to be categorized by our robot as a positive news. Okay. If it is positive, it will tell us to buy. Okay. And this is the description and the details. If you want to see the full article, you can follow all these links. This was published when? Let's see the publisher. Yeah, it was published yesterday. So I would like to mention here that if you are using the free API of News API, if you are not paying for it, they will give you only 24-hour worth of news. So you can't get immediate news for today. Only the previous day's news. That's the latest you can get. Okay. So if you want to get things that are latest for today, then you have to pay for the premium version. But these are all the news. This is the first article. It obtained 644 articles for me. So the question is, if you're going to sit and analyze all of these articles by yourself, how long will it take you to do all this? So I didn't want to do everything manually, which is why we are doing this. We have AI to help us, right? So we have this sentiment analysis tools, everything run, and look at the headline. This is the first one. Let's go back to the first one. Okay, look at this. Next generation Siri likely to be launched in iOS 18 with ChatGPT style capabilities. So look at what it said here, the sentiment. It tells us the sentiment is overwhelmingly neutral and positive. So 89.7% neutral, 10.3% positive. Compound is kind of a weighted average of these three values. So if you have this compound to be greater than 0.5, it is a positive news. Okay. Here, of course, this is one limitation of this sentiment analysis tool from the natural language toolkit. That is, it doesn't have much information. It was trying to understand things like this. For it, all it says here is just a simple English, English sentence. It has no idea of the context that ChatGPT style is something that is trending now. So it's a good news for companies. If you want a more powerful natural language toolkit, you can use the large language models. All right, those ones will be able to understand that yes, ChatGPT style is amazing thing. So if Siri will come with this kind of style, it is an amazing news. So this is supposed to be higher. All right, but that's not the case for this one. At least one good thing is it didn't say it was negative. So it is relatively powerful, but it has this limitation I will mention. Of course, if you want to build a more robust one, I will say use the more powerful models out there. All right, but look at this. This one is overwhelmingly positive. So the robot will buy for me at this price. So look at it. What is the headline? First United Bank and Trust has 9.7. Okay, so this one it knows. Okay, because this has been there in maybe history that when big guys are buying a particular stock, it is a positive thing. Okay, because now First United Bank and Trust are buying Tesla stocks, it assumes it to be very positive. That's why you see this is very high. Okay, so you can look at even some with negative sentiments. This one is negative. Okay, so this is all. So some guy here is saying forget the stock market shiny winners. So this is negative, right? There is always hidden money in the losers. Said the veteran manager. So it assumes this to be a negative sentiment. All right, so this tool has analyzed so many things for us. 100 That's the maximum it can do at a time. We have 644, but it can only analyze 100. So if you want to do all the 644, you can just go and do it again for the next set of 644. All right. So the next thing I did was to test connection to Alpaca. I will come back to this later, but anyways, let's talk about it. So as I said, once we have this test sentiment and we are happy, we can build our strategy, and the idea is to see how can we deploy that in the real market, right? So I try to now connect via code. If you come to Alpaca, you can easily register, as I have always explained. Once you have your account ready, you can come down, okay, and you can place, okay, you can buy or you can sell. You can buy or you can sell a particular stock. You can buy, you just write the symbol, you indicate the order type, and what have you, you review and you place order. Okay. If you want to connect with your own code, with what we are doing now, you get your API keys, copy them, come here and paste them in your API keys. So you need to do that, so that once you do that, you can be able to be executing orders directly from here, and it will be reflecting here. So we place an order immediately. Let's see our order history. When I run the course today, yeah, this is it. So 7 minutes ago, it placed order on Netflix and it cancelled it. Let's look at it here. Let's do it once again. In fact, let me change it to Apple, because we are talking about Apple. Okay. Okay. So let's run it and see. Will we see? Aha, you see, immediately it has come. A few seconds, and it will cancel it. So this has shown you that I was able to establish the connection. Cancelled. Okay. And come to the code, you will see market order for 1 share of Apple submitted, order was cancelled. So here what I did was, Apple, I want to buy 1 share, let it run for 10 seconds and then cancel it. Okay, so this is the second tool which you can use to be doing your stuff. Backtesting, this is always the next thing, right? You want to test whether the strategy we talked about using the sentiment analyzer is going to give you profitable outcome or not. So this is the code which I obtained also from ChatGPT. If you scroll down, the codes are all here. I have them all here. Strategy. So I got all of these codes, analyze the results, backtest strategy and what have you. So I got them. Of course, I will have to say I had to sit and edit some things, because it was actually a little bit too much for ChatGPT to handle. So I did some edits. So yeah, but don't worry, I will provide this code as well for you to be able to use it. Okay, you will have this code so that you can use it and play around with things. So it runs this code, and let's see the result. Okay, so these are some times. So this is a 1 minute chart at 9:30 a.m., 9:31. These are the prices. Let's see what happened. Okay, nice. Oh my god. Okay, not bad today. Yesterday we made around 4%, if I remember correctly. We had no loss. We were all profitable. 17 of them were wins and only one was a loss. But today, okay, so things have changed. Today, you can see we made 15 wins and we made 2 losses. But still we were able to win more. We won around $167. Our initial account was 10,000 and it made us 167. We made a return of 1.67% today. Not as much as yesterday, but not bad. Look at the money here. These are the prices which we entered. Set up our stop loss and take profit. Was the profit, and this is the profit we made for each trade. So this is my trade record. So I'm printing it out. You can see the trades. So if you sum them up, okay, there are these 2 terrible trades I entered. Very terrible. Because of maybe a negative sentiment. Let me check this negative sentiment that made me lose my money. Yeah, so but overall still we were able to make money today as well. Yesterday too we made like 400 when we tested it, and today we have made this amount. Not bad. All right, So this is how you develop this, and let's move now to the next section where I show you how you can access the code. Okay. So as Vincent asked, let me share this. So if you want to access our materials, you have two options. One, you can go to our YouTube channel. This is the QR code. You can scan the QR code and you can have access to our videos, okay, on the YouTube channel. The only thing is, on YouTube, we normally place our videos a week. That's when they become public, 1 week after the workshop. Okay, but you can be able to access all the previous week's workshops on YouTube. We have this app, okay, which I will show you now how to use. So this is our app. You can also here, you can just scan the barcode or QR code. If you scan the QR code, it takes you to the app. On the other hand, you can use this link. I will send it in the chat. You can keep it with you and you can use it to access the app. Okay. Yeah, I've sent it in the chat. All right. So once you come, normally let me sign out. Okay. So if you come here, you will see start for free. You can log in. So if you are just starting, you can just come here and you can create your account. Okay. You have login. I already have account, so I will just log into my account. Okay, so now you are in the home page. You can see public workshops. You open public workshops. This is the current workshop we have added, which is the workshop in AI in finance workshop. Begin lessons. Okay, these are all the previous workshops that have been loaded. Okay, so we normally upload our workshops, let's say 24 hours, right? 24 to 48 hours after the session. This was the session on Tuesday that was completed at late, so it has already been uploaded. So you can, let's say, open anyone. You can open this one, for example, and you can also watch the recordings directly, and you can download resources here. Click here, you download the resources. Okay, so let's see the resources you can open. So you can see you have the code, you have the lecture note, and you have the trading bot prompts. So the prompts that I've shown you, this one, so you will have it also in the resources. Okay, so if you can, let's say, download the code, all right, you can just extract this to desktop. Okay, you can come to Google Colab. You can go to upload notebook, upload, browse, go to desktop. You see it now. This is the code here that I just downloaded. I open it. Okay, success. So it will open. Okay, so this is the first code, demo code, 1st January 2024, and you will have access to all the codes. You can just play around with stuff. Okay, yeah, you can run it and you see here also we made money. How much did we make? After 2 months, we made 500 return on our $10,000 account. Okay, we developed a simple strategy and it was only one single trade. Okay, we even have some visualizations and we traded on Tesla. All right, so this is how you get access to the resources. I hope I have answered the question, Vincent.
Yes, you have. You have. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. So what's next? We have workshops coming up in February, but those ones are not for financial trading. They are for AI application in the educational industry as well as the business operation. Okay, so not for financial industry. We have finished all these workshops. All of this we have finished them. We started with the first session, then we moved to the second week where we use machine learning, we use reinforcement learning in third week, and in the fourth week now we are using natural language processing. Today is the last day. So I hope to see you in the next events. This is the uh, QR code, or you can go to Eventbrite. If you are following us on Eventbrite, then you will be always receiving notifications about our upcoming workshops. Okay. So for those who need additional assistance, for example, you need some guidance or you want to develop a project in this context of AI in finance, or you want to do a research study and or you want to do training. So if you want to do training, we can talk for for free. 30 minutes, you can book your call. We're on Calendly. You can scan this code. You can have my Calendly page where you can pick the time that is convenient for you for us to talk. I can provide you with some advice and guidance based on my little knowledge. And I would like to mention that we will start a new training session or training cohort 5th February for those who are interested in AI. We have developed a very good offer for people to be able to access these terminologies and technologies, and they will be able to work with me one on one, as well as I will provide you with a trading bot which I have been working on in the past few months. So this I only provide it to only my students, because if you use any trading bot that is there in public, there are two things involved. One, it must have been reverse engineered by other people. Two, if many people are using it, then it will lose its efficiency and efficacy. It will lose its age. Three, you are not the one who developed it. You don't know the developer, so you are not sure how you can be able to update or improve it, because markets are adaptable, changes happen. So by default, at least you have to work on updating your bot, let's say every month. So if you don't know how to do that, or you don't have access to the developer, how can you update it? So maybe you will come across some bots there that are very, very like profitable when they were first released, but then later on they stopped, making money for people, because many people are using them, and at the end of the day, after the market adjusted to all the strategy that was developed in that bot, they no longer make money using that bot. So I have a bot I'm working on, which I intend to provide to those that enroll in the program, and of course, this is only for them, not for everybody. Okay, I will want them to share it in the public domain. And not only that, I will help you deploy this bot in the funded accounts. So if you know there are these funded accounts, so if you go and win a challenge with them, they will fund your account with some money, 10,000, 20,000, $50,000, which you can trade on their behalf, and you share the profit with them. So we will also help you deploy everything, and I will show you how to do everything step by step. So if that is interesting to you, we can talk. We provide different types of payment options. You can do one-time payment. You can do multiple payments. We accept as well. The idea is to help people set up these tools and go through the program without having any challenges. So I will say, enjoy building your bot. You have all the resources, download them, play around with them. Okay, this is our last class or last session on AI application in finance. So go and enjoy working with these bots, play around with them, download them, see how they work. You know, try to come up with your own strategies as well, and enjoy the process. It is really exciting enlightening, and it actually helps you to upskill in this regard. So if there is any other question, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise, we can call it a day. By the way, these are also my contact details. You can reach out to me.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I have your WhatsApp number?
Yeah, you can reach me out this number here. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, I am not
Okay.
sharing. This is my WhatsApp.
Sorry. Can you put it in a chat? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right. So, any other question? No question. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for being here, and I hope over the past 1 month you've been able to get some few things out of the workshops. I hope it was not a colossal waste of time. I really do hope so. I hope you really have learned a lot from these workshops, just like I have learned a lot as well in the process. All right, then. Amazing. See you guys. Take care. Bye.